Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are listening into the big interview from around the world. I am joined by the amazing multiple award winning member of this association from DMS, Direct Marketing Services, Sue Ellen. Sue Ellen has been with us as a member now for a number of years. And as I mentioned, she has won many an award, one of which she seems to have held on to quite regularly, which is she's been one of our key networking members of the overall service that we offer, and she's a great person to actually get connected to, whether wherever you are, wherever you're connecting. Certainly, connections with Sue Ellen will open doors in other areas because of her networking experience. Sue Ellen, welcome. Lovely to have you
Lovely,
with us.
thank you.
Um, for those listening in, Sue, obviously this is on YouTube, but it is going to be shared across other platforms. So for those listening in, um, could you give us a little bit of a backstory into Sue Ellen and how you've got to the point where DMS was formed? Give us a little bit more info.
Okay, well, basically, yes, actually, very quickly, I left college, took a secretarial role, decided I didn't really want to be a secretary anymore, went freelance, worked for which consumer association, testing cars. Quite an interesting role. I then settled down to a career in a state agency. And then moved on, which was in Bishop Stortford in Hertfordshire. And then I moved on to become a recruitment consultant in London, mainly for accountancy staff. When I got married, I decided I didn't want a career, so I took a job, a job, as a agent in a call centre. And I thought to myself, we were doing contracts only for major companies, really big companies and multi-thousand-pound contracts.
Mm,
And I thought to myself, there's a gap in the market here for SMEs and sole traders.
mm,
So I left and literally set up my business around the kitchen table. And that's how we started. Um,
wow.
and back in the day, this was 1998, I think, 98, 99. Um, and there was a lot less competition then than there is now with telemarketing agencies. And it went down very well. My first contract was with the Royal British Legion, making the local community aware that they had a commercial printing department. So the profits went to the RB, no, the Royal British Legion, RBL. And that was my first client. And that's how DMS was born, really.
So a very sort of I can see the correlation between being going from the estate agent to recruitment because they're quite similarly they're quite similarly sort of targeted. They're very much of a target industry, aren't they? Where it's about matching people's requirements in obviously for
Yeah.
business, but equally matching someone's home. It's a matchmaking service, isn't it? So I can see the correlation between that and having been an estate agent, as you know myself, for a similar sort of period of time as you were, I've seen a lot of people in when I was an estate agent jumping from estate agency into recruitment, and I've seen a lot of recruitment consultants jumping from recruitment into estate agency because there's a similarity there. You said I'm going to take you back just slightly because you said you saw a gap in the market for the small business
Yes.
owner. Obviously, that's something that I take it that was something that wasn't just an opportunity because I know you. It wasn't just an opportunity to think, oh, I can make lots of money here with the small business world. You saw that the small business world wasn't getting the rub of the green that the bigger guys were getting, and you wanted to deliver. I take it that a affordable service that would work for the small business world, not just for the big corporates.
Yeah. And actually, thinking about it, in a way, I've still got a USP in the sense that most of the agencies now, even though they will do contracts for SMEs and sole traders, they still want for example, a 3-month contract.
Mm.
I will do any length of time that you want. And I've actually even done 1 hour's work. Somebody wanted, I can't remember now what it was, but they wanted something done that took an hour. They didn't have the hour. I did. So I did it.
Yeah.
And because I've talked to quite a lot of agencies in the industry, and none of them that I've come across will actually take, um,
Sort of ad
say,
hoc work.
10 hours a week or
Yeah.
small contracts. They only want contracts.
Yeah. And I
I don't do
suppose
that. I will still do it as and
there's
when.
there's your
So,
USP, as you said quite rightly. Your unique selling point there is that you've got the flexibility for people to work with you as and when they need to work with you, as opposed
yeah.
to trying to sign you into an extended contract that you may not really need. So that. Yeah, that is a very strong USP, isn't it? Um, so let's talk about DMS. So you are obviously direct marketing services is DMS, and I know that within DMS you've got multiple support services going on under the umbrella of DMS. But talk to us about how DMS can help those looking for the kind of services that they're on offer, and obviously explain some of those services, so to obviously allow the people listening in today to be able to understand the power of what you bring.
Okay. Well, obviously, there are a multitude of things you can do over the telephone. Issue invitations, raise awareness, as I did with the RBL. Right, so issue invitations, raise awareness. Um, Mystery shopping. You can also do a campaign where you will test out how a company's customer service, how effective they are.
Yes.
But the most popular one of the services, database verification. Now that's very important because if you do a telemarketing campaign to set appointments, if you
Mm-hmm.
work with an out-of-date database, then it's a waste of time and money. And
Mm-hmm.
databases become out of date very quickly. So that's a very important function. But the thing that I do most frequently is set up appointments for my clients to introduce their products or services to prospects. But I would always advise doing a database verification first. So,
Yeah, working with us. Yeah, I mean, I've, we've all got data. I suppose we've all got databases of some description. It could be past clients, could be future prospects.
you
But
could,
if that information that you've got is out of date, then it's absolutely worthless, isn't it? So how can you're not going to be able to reach out to somebody and have a conversation with somebody if the data is out of date. So having it up to date is really important, and that's part of the service that you offer. So if somebody's got a database, do you cleanse the database for them and clean it
yeah,
up, and
I
then
would
so that they
advise
know what
that.
they're doing?
I would advise that. But of course, there are people who don't have databases and you can
Mm,
buy them. So then
yes.
if you, as long as you're buying them from a reputable supplier, then you don't need to do the database verification. It's only if you've got your own database.
I remember working, and this will certainly resonate with yourself. I remember working with a really lovely company, and they are lovely, really lovely company up in sort of the Midlands area of the UK. And I was given 30,000 names of past clients
Wow.
and past contacts more than past clients. Some were past clients, some were contacts. They were segregated into sort of subheadings, which made it a bit easier so that you knew what the qualification of the call was going to be. Um, but when I went through it, and it was my daughter and I went through it, she helped me because it was just I looked at this database and thought, wow, we've got to get through this, and my um, I suppose my remit was phone these up and get appointments, fill my diary up. Yeah. And there you go, here's a database. And I was like, oh, okay, great. So I've got something to work with, that's great. In the end, I found myself having to cleanse that database to the point where 30,000 names actually dropped down to 10. Um, yeah,
Wow.
2/3 of it was
Oh my God.
either so out of date that it wasn't existing or it was duplicated. There was multiple duplications. I mean,
Hmm.
the one there was one I remember because I used to start. I get a bit sort of OCD with things like that, and I like to sort of like jot down. I suppose just the way I work, but I like to jot down how many of certain things have happened in a certain way, and the most uh, in that database. And don't get me wrong, they're all in segregated like sections, which was fine. Um, but I found 11 duplicates in one person. 11 on
Yeah.
one person. I was like, wow, this is, I thought, and at one point I rang somebody and I looked at it and I got a visual, visual memory. And I looked at this. I thought, I'm sure I've spoken to them. Look, went back, checked the number against the number that was on it, and sure enough, it was. The difference was a spelling of their name, and it, yeah. So another way of obviously, and you don't want to be phoning a potential new client for a company um, up two or three times in a day because you just because
Oh,
someone's misspelt the input, well, and you've not spotted it. So it took a while to cleanse it, but we got it down, and we did fill their diary. We filled their diary immediately, but it was a churn. We were churning through a lot of you know editing, if almost, of that
yeah.
database to make sure it works. So I feel your pain when you have to go through that because it's yeah. I did it personally. I didn't have a team around me like you have. You've got team people around you that can obviously get involved with all of that for you, don't you? So I did it myself, and my daughter helped me. And yeah, that took some time, but it was great because at the end result was an up-to-date database with that had been regularly contacted, and people were waiting for their calls the next time round for when we'd agreed to make a call to them in 3 months, 6 months, a year's time, depending on their needs. Um, and they were waiting for that call. So when we did speak to them in 2 or 3 months' time, they were expecting us to phone, and it made it so much easier that secondary conversation. But that very first time of asking, is there's you do get a lot of people saying, well, I don't never heard of you. Who are you? And it's like, oh right, okay. I phoned a number of people where I contacted them and I asked for the person, and they'd sadly passed away 2 or 3 years earlier, and that's how out of date this was in some stages. But it's very easy, isn't it, without somebody like you in play? It's very easy to lose the consistency and the grip of that database if it's falling out of date. Like you rightly said, it goes out of date in an instant. Um, but with somebody like you in someone's team, that minimalizes the opportunity for them to that database to fall away, because you and the team are on it and constantly nurturing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Mm. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
brilliant. So what else does DMS do?
What else?
Yes,
Um,
yeah, I know you've got a few things under the umbrella, so
oh,
perhaps you want to
oh,
tell us a little bit about the things that you're working on at the moment.
I wasn't expecting that question.
As I said, I'd interact.
Um, well, I am looking at a company in the health and wellness
Oh, cool,
industry.
excellent.
Um, Something I hadn't really planned to go into, and the only reason I did was because the wife of a friend of mine was critically ill,
Hmm.
and she was sent home from hospital, um, and deteriorated. She took this product and got better,
Hmm.
stopped taking it just to test it, if you like,
Yeah,
deteriorated again, took
right.
the product and
Improved.
got better.
Yeah.
And I thought, and it's a supplement. It's not a medical
No.
product, it's
Right.
a
Yeah.
supplement.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I saw with my own eyes
Mm. The
that it
power.
worked.
Mm.
And there are lots of testimonials, one notable one, to the point that the dosage that this person took became a phrase.
Right.
I won't say the phrase because well, it was, for example, it was like Mary's dose. Mary
Right.
wasn't the name, but
No, no.
it became Mary's dose.
Right.
And she took this product every hour on the hour and prolonged her life. She was a cancer patient
Hmm.
with a very poor prognosis.
Hmm.
She prolonged her life by many, many years. And when she went back to see the specialist, having taken this product for, I can't remember how long, for a unspecified, the tumor had gone.
Wow.
Now, you can't argue with that.
I should imagine the doctor turned and said, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it," didn't they? So,
So
so
I joined that business,
yeah,
and it's
good.
something I'm still very new at. I mean, telemarketing is like second nature to me to
Yeah,
talk about it, but
yeah.
health and wellness is a different thing altogether.
But it's nice that you're
Um,
venturing into that world to obviously, be able to. But somebody like yourself, so who's very much out there, very much networking, very known in the networking scene. If you can get a good message out there to help
yeah,
others to be
um,
healthier, then that's a great thing to be doing,
yeah.
isn't it?
I mean,
Get
this
people going.
product, it's got the product that she took every hour is their flagship product,
Hmm.
which the advice is to take that, whatever else you do or don't take. There are lots of other products which look at specific problems.
Mm.
But
Good.
whatever product you take, the advice is to always take the groundbreaking product, which is called Cell Defender. And it
Right.
is what it says on the tin.
Oh,
It removes toxins and heavy metals from the um, cells.
yeah. Brilliant.
And we
Brilliant.
like to say that a healthy body fixes itself.
Yes.
And the proof has been in the testimonials that we receive.
Fantastic.
So that's why I joined the business. And I'm still, if you like, not comfortable talking about
No,
it
no.
because it's not an industry I'm accustomed to.
No,
But
no, but it's nice to have that in
yeah,
the background. Be it if somebody needed some healthy
yeah,
products or supplements, you're actually on hand to be able to signpost them to the products that could be really useful for them. Now, there is something else I know you do, and I love bringing this into the conversation because if anyone is out there listening in on this YouTube experience with the big interview, and you're thinking about going on holiday. Right now, of course, everyone likes to go away and have a break, maybe a long weekend. It could be a week or 2 week break. It could be that you need, uh, you could be going away for a while. Could be whatever it may be. Now, there's something else that you offer that I think is absolutely amazing, because you are the person that can give the person going on holiday peace of mind to know that their pet is
ah,
being looked
yeah.
after. So tell tell the
Oh my
people listening
God,
in
Ian, you
a
did,
little
Sean,
bit
you
more
did.
about how you give peace of mind to those wanting to go on holiday when there's a pet at home, a dog at home, a cat, a tortoise, whatever, a goldfish,
Yeah,
whatever it
absolutely.
may be, that you're there on hand to help them out.
Yeah. House and pet sitting, yes. And that I love doing that. Obviously, being a passionate animal lover, it's something I really enjoy. And yes, I'll look after anything other than horses. Not because I don't like horses, but because they're very big, a lot bigger than me, and I don't really know much about looking after a horse.
No, right.
But other than that, I've looked after obviously cats and dogs, and as you said, goldfish and birds, anything else, and I really enjoy it. Yeah, so cat and pet sitting, and I haven't, I have actually had one um assignment which was looking after an empty house because they didn't want it to stand empty. So I was actually in a it had a bed, obviously,
Yeah,
a bed and a set of basics, but it was fundamentally it wasn't occupied.
yeah,
So I was looking after that. But usually it's cats and dogs.
yeah. Normally they're there to keep you company, but that one in particular didn't have that the pet with it. It's lovely. I mean, obviously anything I suppose from your point of view, anything that's can live in the house, you'll be able to look after
No,
it.
I've looked after sheep, by the
Have
way.
you looked after sheep as
Yes,
well?
yes,
Oh
a
wow, I
field
didn't
of
know
sheep.
that.
All you have,
Right,
I mean, all I had to do was go and feed them. But,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So,
Didn't
like I
shear
said,
them.
I will
Didn't
look
have to
after
shear them.
anything other than a horse.
Right. I was going to say you didn't have to shear the sheep. No,
No.
no, no, no. Just make sure they're okay. Well, there you go. Something I didn't know. I didn't know you'd looked after sheep before as well. So, if anyone out there is listening in, wherever it may be, as you can see from
Yeah.
this interview, Sue is, as I said at the start of this interview, she is a great connection because there's
Oh,
always going to be something, someone that she can either help you with directly or introduce to you through her connections.
yes, and I'm sure I could find someone to look after a horse. It just wouldn't
Yes,
be me.
it just wouldn't be you, but you could facilitate that. I'm
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Well, listen, it's been wonderful having this lovely chat with you. And sorry to throw a few curveballs in there, but
Oh,
you know me, Sue. Um, so the one thing I'd like to for people listening in on YouTube and obviously on the other on and of course where it's getting shared across the other social platforms. Um, could you let people know where to find you, how to find you, where you hang out? Give them a little bit more detail about where they can get hold of you.
absolutely. Okay, well, DMS, which is my long-standing primary business, I've got the URL, but I forgot to renew it. I got it back, but I forgot to renew it. So the website's been lost, but I will be getting a new website using that URL. So that would be directmarketingservices.co.uk. Um, as I haven't got a website, I haven't got a DMS email address at the moment. So we could use my personal one, which is the letter S, the letter X, propertyfinder at gmail.com. Or I can be found on LinkedIn and WhatsApp. WhatsApp. And the number for WhatsApp is 0794 736 4838. And I do have a website with the health and wellness business, but I can't quote it to you. I wasn't expecting the question, and it's a new website to me, so I can't quote the website address. But
They can always
anybody who's
get in
interested,
contact
I
with
can
you.
obviously supply it.
Yeah, if they can always get in contact with you,
Yeah,
can't they, through
exactly.
the information you've given, and then obviously you can forward that on to
It's
them.
it's quite a. I didn't choose the website address for the wellness business, and it's quite a clumsy, long-winded,
Long
so
one.
I don't even try to remember it.
Well, okay. Well, listen, they can reach out to you on WhatsApp on the number you've supplied
Yeah.
or email, and you can always forward it on to them that way. And of course, anyone listening in who needs their pet looked after, you now know where to go. And Sue, I can say this safely because she's mentioned this a number of times in our meetings.
Right.
She will go anywhere to look after your pet as long
Yes,
as anywhere in the world, as long as you're paying for the
absolutely.
flight, as long as you pay for the flight to get her there, she'll be on your doorstep, ready to look after your pet. So the world is her oyster, and of course she's able to look after your animals at your when you most need them looked after, which is when you're not about. So feel free to get in touch with her there as well. Sue, it's been an absolute privilege and pleasure to interview you. It's been great to actually get this big interview done with you. It's been a long time coming, but I'm glad we've waited as long as we have because we had a little bit more to talk about on this one. Thank you so much, Sue, for joining us. And for those listening in on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Uh, just obviously below to obviously you'll see this interview, but there's also lots of other big interviews on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is YouTube at TTBCA. And obviously, if you go onto there, like and subscribe, you'll see all the other interviews we've done. There's been recordings of keynote speakers at our meetings, giving some real tasty, real useful advice and guidance for business owners. So get subscribed, get liking and subscribing on this particular interview, as well as obviously like all the others. And join us again next time we have a big interview. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Sorry, thank you very much.